It's Yaakov Rosenberg here. It's a great plus for me to be able to give this year, however you're watching it, whether it's through YouTube, Facebook, I don't know exactly what it's around. This is technically my fourth summer with camp, meaning this virtual summer is my fourth. I went 2 years as a camper. Last year I was Kolel, to be a counselor and probably Kolel second session. And it's just a great skill for me to be able to give this year. I want to talk a little bit about Tisha, a little bit about the 9 days. We can connect this to the times that we're living in now in terms of COVID. These days of mourning, even more meaningful. Famous Mishnah. There are 5 reasons why we fast on Sheva Asar B'Tammuz and 5 reasons why we fast on Tisha B'Av. 5 events. Tisha B'Av, so skipping down a little, but Tisha B'Av Nigzar L'Vatenu Shalom Yikatsu Haaretz. So there was decree on that day that no one would, generation would enter the land of Israel besides for Caleb and Yoshua. And then Dash is destroyed, so that's 2 and 3. Milk the Beitar, and Beitar, which is the last fortress during Bar Kokhba revolt, was destroyed, so there was kind of their last chance, was finally destroyed, and then Sha'ir, and then events, that we our happiness, and that is the 9 days. That is a preparation towards Tisha B'Av. And just looking at other things that happened in history around Tisha B'Av, that the First Crusade happened in Av. 3 different expulsions happened in Jewish history from within days of Tisha B'Av, and then probably most notably is that the final solution was approved. So again, with the terms of sadness and destruction, the last hope, again, we see that 6 million Jews were almost decreed to die on this day. So now we have to see these 9 days as a preparation to how we can get better and how we can prepare for Tisha B'Av. So this Gemara in Yevamot talks about what we should do during the 9 days. So it says Tanya, so in Breita, Mirosh Chodesh V'Ad Tani, Me'atin Ma'askehem, so with like business, doing Toa, Muli Iras, and from like planting and from building, Lisa. Oh, fine, Ira, Lisa. So, and then you shouldn't like have Kiddushin or Nisuin, so you should have like marriage during this time. So we can, in terms of it's interesting that we are supposed to kind of refrain from business and things like that. That might give us some but during times like these where you're working from home, you're kind of it seems very interesting. Like we kind of have that balance. We kind of have to have other connect to these 9 days. I know whenever we're reminders, whether it's like you're hoping for hot dogs and hamburgers, but then for 9 days you can't have hot dogs or hamburgers for dinner, and you only have milk, milk like meals, like the entire time. And also like the way that we like swim, like it has to be more educational. So whether they make us, I don't know, do push-ups before. I remember doing that as a camper. We used to do push-ups and then like a couple laps, and then it's like, yeah, go swim. So just different reminders that you don't necessarily have. And then it continues into Shabbos Shechal Tisha B'Av Abtocha Asr L'Saper L'Chavetz, and the common things that we're not allowed to have a haircut and we're not allowed to do laundry during these days. In terms of like not being able to cut your hair or launder your clothes, we kind of treat ourselves almost like a Nazir does. Like a Nazir's not allowed to cut his hair. It's almost the opposite of Kohen, who has to cut his hair. But we start to draw ourselves into this state of mourning or withdraw from happiness. And for ourselves, it's a little hard because we might not have so relevant to us. Like especially me, like as a teenager, I don't really have anything going on besides packing for Israel. Business is, and withdrawing from business and building all these things aren't so relevant. So we do. you start to learn Eicha or keynote something. There's so many opportunities we have now that our communities further connected. Whether it's Shiurim, whether it's like keynote that will be on Tisha B'Av, through Zoom, that this Corona world has given us, that we have, even in the unconventional ways, ourselves for Tisha B'Av. And there's this big conversation of exactly what Tisha B'Av is. Is it a day of mourning, a day of sadness, or is it going to be like eventually? Is it turned to the point where it takes us to get somewhere, or is it a point within itself? So we see one opinion of this in Zechariah. Basically, these people ask Zechariah that exact question: is it still going to be in the morning when the Beit Mikdash is restored? And he says, it's supposed to be days of Simcha once the Beit Mikdash is restored. Tisha B'Av, in contradiction to Yom Kippur, Tisha B'Av is based in itself of sadness. Is because we don't want to give ourselves the pleasure. We see that you're not supposed to. You're supposed to fast. When very much on Tisha B'Av, it's the opposite. You're not showing your you're in a state of mourning. You're sadness. You're doing nothing. You're not allowed to see. So you're not supposed to learn Torah. They put us in a different state, not necessarily just showing our powerful our connection is to Hashem. So we're going to have to re-examine what these things are. Point. So Rabbi Shimon, it makes the connection straight out. It makes this connection between almost like one and the same. We'll see this connection further, exactly how we can get balances later in the bold in this command. Anyone who mourns for Yerushalayim is see it rebuilt, basically. Further, the connection we have between Tisha B'Av and Yom Kippur. On Yom Kippur, it's in addition to itself showing how connected we are to Hashem. For Tisha B'Av, it's a day of mourning to show how we can get back to be connected with Hashem. We have all of these things that we have, but by abstaining from these things, by literally drenching ourselves in sadness, even though we might not feel it ourselves because we never we're showing how much we want it. And it's in that way, it's the same thing. Remember how much we want our connection with Him, and how powerful it is. And on Tisha B'Av, it's one and the same. Every time we do these things is separate, interconnected. It's even more powerful when these are the only two, quote unquote, like major fasts. Continuing on with the different aspects of Tisha B'Av. So we're going to see from this Mourning Psukim whether or not you're supposed to do malacha on Tisha B'Av. So whether, even though it's not, there are some people that would not do malacha. So Moshava MehaBayit lasa malacha, the Tisha B'Av osim. Would do malacha on Tisha B'Av. Like that city normally does. Even in that city, you're allowed to do malacha. If you're in a place where they don't, then you shouldn't do malacha. It says, "If kol makom talmidei chachamim b'teilim." So, talmidei chacham. Rabban Shimon and Gamliel Omer, "La'olam yaseh adam no talmid chacham." So he says everyone should treat themselves like a talmid chacham, meaning everyone should not do malacha. And during these days, it's okay if you're not supposed to like learn Torah, you're not able to eat, and you don't even have like things going on. So when you're in camp, you have basically activities and things planned throughout the day to keep you continue to fast. While now we see like, okay, you're not supposed to do malacha, and you're not even supposed to eat, drink, all of these things. Like, especially if you're stuck at home, even if you're not able to go to shul, what exactly are you supposed to do? And that's where the power of the times that we're living in comes in. Everything that we have, that camp, Tisha was not in camp, which was very weird because it usually is. It was almost right after camp. It was a very weird day for me because I felt like I wasn't as connected as the year before, where you had stuff throughout the day. But now that those connections can be just as strong as the ones that we have in person. Very powerful thing is that like strong, like even distance can't really separate us. Something great that Corona has done, especially to combat Sinai Kingdom. We see how connected we are. One, Sinai Kingdom story that we have is the reason that why the Beit HaMikdash was just one of the reasons why the Beit HaMikdash was built in the first place. Just bringing that back, but that's very powerful. Continuing on, we see very much that all the things that are not supposed to go on Tisha B'Av. So in this Megillah, in this Gemara in Tani, Tana Rabbanan, Kol Mitzvah Nohagot, Aval Nohagot Tisha B'Av. So anything that we do normally mourning on Tisha B'Av. So Asher V'Achik, Amita, eat, drink. You're not allowed to like spare oil in your body like king would. So you can't wear the same kind of shoes. And then the big one, Midrash, we're supposed to learn Torah. It's literally showing why are we supposed to show Hashem getting better, and we're drawing closer to Him. People not able to. So I'll leave that as an about Korehu Rug. So there's an opinion that are able to read something that you don't normally read. If you can learn like 2 months of Hara, that's also looked at. But you're able to the core so you are able to learn all of that thing. So the story that tells us so much destruction and so much sadness for almost no reason. These kind of stories help us get in the right atmosphere. The thing that I so that basically children should not be like learning Torah that is like they shouldn't be. With the next source, that seems very troubling because it says it says Yerushalayim was destroyed. These children weren't learning in the classroom. They weren't learning Torah. So it brings up bigger questions. So why would we say that the exact thing that seems to be the solution was the problem continue? Meaning we don't have it be the solution. If school children weren't, if they were playing out the solutions, how we should connect back to Hashem is through having them learn in the classroom, through having them learn Torah all day. It's not so clear that like we shouldn't do that at all. And this is where it comes into really trust of why we mourn and how we should mourn. That once a problem begins, meaning children weren't in something like that kind of society, meaning if our priorities aren't ourselves, so it's not. We can't just fix the next generation and think everything will be fine. So that's one of the reasons why this apparent contradiction cannot be a problem at all. And I'll hope to share another idea. So this very famous Gemara in Mako, the story of Rabbi Akiva, really shows in another light of a bit like Yom Kippur. We made that connection already, but how we can push that even further. So I'm not going to read it inside. Rabbi Akiva was saw the Beit HaMikdash basically burnt down. Everyone was mourning, and Rabbi Akiva was laughing. This fulfilling a prophecy. That really deals with the aspect of kind of the light at the end of the tunnel. What we do today is only as powerful as our big plan. And we don't always know when that big plan is going to come into fruition. Very similar to the case of Corona. We don't know when the situation is going to end. We have to remember that there's light at the end of the tunnel, that they will come back to normal, so that we keep ourselves kind of in check, we keep ourselves powerful, we keep ourselves living a life of meaning. Because if we see the end goal, we're able to become who we want to be during that time. So too, Tisha B'Av, we see the end goal. We see that it's supposed to be. It's supposed to, just like Yom Kippur, it's supposed to be a connection to Hashem. We should see that it's supposed to be a connection to Hashem. So the way that we fix ourselves is even more powerful. It's not just a day of mourning that we should throw ourselves in. Like, woe to us that we did this thing. Obviously, we have to do that. We have to want to have that status to realize how powerful it is. It's by seeing the light at the end of the tunnel that you only see. There's even more power within the aspects of Tisha B'Av. And then, so one quick thing that I kind of wanted to mention is that this Mishnah basically talks about what you should do on Tisha B'Av. This is what I'm actually seems like a little weird. I'm also not usually home, but it says Rabbi Hamita of Lo Hodu L'Chachamim. So Rabbi Yehuda says you should basically flip your bed on the floor, and so you're allowed to sleep in your bed. Fine, you don't have to go to this extreme step. But something you're maybe able to do if you end up like putting your bed on the floor, maybe you don't actually sleep on the floor, but maybe you put your bed framing, put your bed on the floor. I know I've heard it. And when you're at home and you don't want, when I wake up on a normal day where I wake up and I get out of bed. So these are just other things like these small things. It's a small thing that you could do to possibly enhance your Tisha B'Av experience. The way that you wake up, that you were mentioning. I will save this last small bit quickly go over what we said before. We talked about Tanit, about the 5 reasons why the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed. We talked about it. We connect that to the Holocaust, things that happened. How we see that Tisha B'Av seems like it's just a remembrance of these days. We should preparation. How we treat ourselves. Maybe we should treat our haircut. We should refrain from the happy things for ourselves. We see, and then we see it almost turn. These should be Yom Simcha. It is just like Yom Kippur is a day of itself of happiness. We can see that we can elevate ourselves to a higher level and have ourselves a very meaningful day. And change the way we die. Meaning we never actually knew the Beit HaMikdash. We, especially now with this corona, our life is not fulfilled with what we're doing right now, so we have to change something. And this is our ability to change, to do something extra. We resolve the contradiction. You would have the school children in the like young Talmudim. Problem is starting. The problem isn't always the solution. Sometimes you have to go extra, meaning we said the problem was with the generation of itself, that they might, the problem might be within the adults themselves. So it's not just the children. It's the ideology that we have. It's a higher standard. Kind of throwing ourselves into the ground is a way that we can fix that and show our connection to the story of Rabbi Akiva and the light at the end of the tunnel. That we as looking forward to the only Simcha, meaning now we have to mourn, we have to be sad to show our connection, and to really go through character development of each and one of ourselves. It's the things that we're wrong. Another very interesting contradiction is that since you're not supposed to agree, and you think, how are we supposed to cure practical way to resolve that issue? And it can be even going further that our within what we think is possibly with Zoom, we will have on Tisha. There are bigger ways than just talking that we can reconnect ourselves in. All the things that we finish with this very small door just about getting back this to Corona again. The first pasuk name very interesting because we are literally in Bidu. Bidu means isolation. If I yashva badan, ha'ir rabti haytaka lagim sarati midinot hatam widow. And again, like I'm picking up on we are without the Beit Mikdash. We're also without so crazy 2020 in general. Just everything that's happened from to all the social justice movements that have been happening recently. We see, and it's our job to take all this exists. The light at the end of the tunnel. Beit Mikdash being rebuilt. Even when we our goal is it'll connect us. In Eichel in general, there's this acrostic throughout it. Meaning the first three prakim, it goes the one pasuk is Aleph, next is Bet, next is Gimel, continuing on until three prakim, which symbolizes like our we go through kind of the same daily routine over and over again. And the Perek Dalet, it goes Aleph, 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 Bet, 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 Gimel, 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 where we grind down and we focus on those things that might necessarily we even ingrain our structure even more. It's not only like Aleph, Bet, but it's also in terms of threes, and there's always a power in threes. There's the three algo, whether it's various threes, but we see that we have this even structure. So it seemed so much, way too much, that everything seemed almost controlled. And then Perek Hey, it torn down. There's no more across. Standard. We don't have structure anymore. The last pasuk the last pasuk gets inserted. So literally return us to the way of our almost the way of our structure. We're not right now. We're not living a normal life. We're living in this COVID-19 world. In the end, it's our job to take the power and all the things, character development that we're doing during quarantine, all the lessons that we have, I guess, not taking. We have to take that back with us, so that when we return to the acrostic, when we return to our normal schedules, this whole Corona shenanigan is not for nothing. We really take this time. We take this time of Tisha B'Av. We take this time of isolation to be better people, to be back to ourselves, with Hashem, with each other, and that's basically this year. I hope that you found this meaningful. We can meet Josh very soon, because this Tisha B'Av seems like you have power more than ever. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. It was again it's a bless to be able to give this year. So I hope you have a meaningful and an easy fast. So go ahead.